Why Christian Eriksen's return to Manchester United is more important than you think. Eriksen, back from injury, is going to add creativity, assists and goals into Manchester United's midfield, but also maybe some positional changes. Christian Eriksen has mainly played in defensive midfield for Erik Ten Hag's Manchester United at the base of midfield as a roaming playmaker, moving into the advanced areas to join Bruno Fernandes at 10, but also dropping deep, allowing Marcus Rashford to move inside, and the left back to support in the final third, allowing Christian Eriksen to receive the ball in the deeper areas and control the tempo of games. From that position, I think Casemiro is more of the progressive option. Eriksen looks to keep the ball kind of safe and will play balls into feet, but not necessarily will go long and look to split defences. One of the interesting things, though, we've seen in recent weeks is Bruno playing in that number 8 role deep in midfield, dictating the play and controlling the tempo. This would allow Eriksen to play in the inside right channel, similar to how he played for Maurizio Pochettino's Spurs, and add creativity to Manchester United's attack. Of course, if you are new around here, make sure you subscribe and like the goddamn video, but also check out SofaScore, all their amazing statistics. Christian Eriksen at Manchester United have been pretty decent from a creative sense in the Premier League. In terms of the overall statistics, Eriksen has got 7 assists in his 20 games, 18 starts in the Premier League, creating 1.2 key passes per game. That in fact is massively down on last season at Brentford, but also previously in the Premier League for the likes of Tottenham Hotspur. You're looking at 2.8 chances created for Eriksen last season for Brentford, and even if we were to, let's say, go to one of his best seasons, let's say the 18-19 campaign where Eriksen got 12 assists in the Premier League, he was creating 2.1 chances per game. That being said, if you look at the heat map, Christian Eriksen is a lot higher up the pitch compared to the Manchester United heat map. Let's have a look at 2023. He's a lot deeper and a lot more left-sided. Eriksen is better for me on the right-hand side of the pitch, and him actually starting as number 10 could add creativity to Manchester United. The crazy thing, though, for Christian Eriksen, of course, has been out for a number of weeks. You're looking at the top assisters in the Premier League this season. Eriksen is tied 5th with Martin Odegaard, Mohamed Salah, behind only Michael Olise. Trossard, Saka and Kevin De Bruyne are showing his creativity and ability from set pieces. But I think the biggest situation that Manchester United are looking at is how to improve in the final third. I think Erik Ten Hag's massively improved how United play out from the back. Yes, there is still room for improvement there, but contrasting to last season, vitally important. The other big thing we've seen Bruno Fernandes, as mentioned before, playing as a deeper midfielder. His progressive stats have been absolutely fantastic. And I think playing Christian Eriksen at number 10 with Bruno Fernandes as the number 8 is the way Erik Ten Hag needs to go. Not only will it add creativity in the final third, but it will also have a bit of a better ball retention in that area, and I think United will get there faster with Bruno deep. It also gives you great balance in midfield as well if Bruno joins that inside left channel. As mentioned before, I think Eriksen is much better creating from the right-hand side of the pitch, and Bruno arguably is much better when linking with Marcus Rashford on the left. In terms of that as well, you've got the mobility of Bruno to move into that number 8 position, or that kind of like free 8 position when Eriksen kind of shifts to the right-hand side of the pitch. And we can actually see that with, a number of the performances for Eriksen in the Premier League. For Spurs, he played a lot of his time at Tottenham Hotspur actually playing off the right-hand side, and that allowed him to kind of drift inside and drift into the central areas. I think now with Christian Eriksen, he is kind of that older player, he is that maturing playmaker that you want him constantly in at number 10. This is a heat map from one of his games for Tottenham Hotspur, where he grabbed himself 2 assists, created a big chance, 3 chances created in the 2016-17 season, starting wide. In fact, he had a really good game against Manchester United as a number 10, created 5 chances, 2 big chances in the Premier League that season. That's again what you want with Christian Eriksen. A lot of ball in the central areas. And I think one of the big things we can look from the statistics, 5 chances created, but he still completed 87% of his chances. That's one of the kind of criticisms that's come for Bruno Fernandes at times at Manchester United. He's a little bit too direct in the final third. He looks for the through ball too much. But I think by having it a little bit deeper with Bruno as that kind of deep lying 8 and Eriksen being the guy in the final third, more than not, he picks the correct pass, and I think that's one of the biggest skills of Christian Eriksen. He always plays the smart pass, as I like to call it, whether it's sliding in the winger, whether it's sliding in the centre forward, or playing like a reverse ball to the left winger, or for a number 8 to attack and kind of playing into that position. I like Christian Eriksen higher up the pitch, and I think that creativity, the boost in his own statistics, but also Manchester United, can be very, very important. It also gives Antony a great option on the inside. I think one of the issues United have got, mentioned this many times, with Eriksen playing as a left defensive midfielder, is United will cram this left-hand side of the pitch with bodies, with Rashford, with Bruno, with Eriksen, and it very much leaves Antony kind of isolated. But you flip that round with Eriksen starting at number 10, who's naturally going to drift more right, opens up space for Bruno to move into, but it also gives Antony that little ball inside. And I do like what Antony does in the final third at times. Sometimes he'll stand up the fullback, he'll look to kind of shift the fullback's balance, and then he'll look inside. And I like that. It retains possession in the final third, which will lead to Man United dominating more games. Eriksen in that position is definitely going to be an improvement for Antony. I think the combination play, the 1-2s. Antony had a really good relationship with not only Matsurawi at fullback, but also Steven Berghuis, who played this inside role for Ten Hag's Ajax. And I think that could be a massive improvement in Manchester United. But also from a pressing perspective, Eriksen, in terms of the stats when he played for Mauricio Pochettino's Spurs, he was the top player in terms of distance covered per 90 for him in the Premier League. He is going to work hard in that number 10 area. But I think the big thing as well is you then get the backup of the number 8 being super aggressive, but also being able to win challenges. I think one of the concerns with Eriksen at the base of midfield is he's kind of lightweight in a sense, and he'll be easily bypassed in terms of, for players, running at him, or alternatively if he gets pulled wide and then a player cuts inside. And that is backed up by the statistics. Looking at dribblers tackled in the Premier League, Eriksen tackles 23% of the dribblers that run at him. Compare that to Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes at 46%. So twice as effective at Christian Eriksen. And I think that is a big thing for me in terms of why I don't like Christian Eriksen in defensive midfield, is because he gets dribbled, because he gets caught out. Similar to how Paul Pogba used to get caught out from a possession perspective, where he'd get drawn out a little bit and then the space would be attacked behind him. The Premier League is such a tactically diverse league that happens far too frequently for my liking. With Bruno Fernandes there, better defensively, it's a massive improvement. Looking at Bruno's statistics, tackles plus interceptions when he's played as a number 8 is at 1.9 compared to Christian Eriksen's 1.2 in that position. But more importantly, the progressive stats for Bruno Fernandes are insane. So far in the games that he's played as the number 8 for Manchester United in the Europa League and Premier League, his progressive passes are at 10.12, which is up there with the best in the league. He's passing into the final third 8.64 times. Comparable to Eriksen in that position, progressive passes at 6.41 and passes into the final third at 5.63. Bruno Fernandes is almost, doubling the progressive passes that Christian Eriksen is playing, and it's almost a third more into the final third. I think that is a big, big thing for me from that position. Not only do you need to be good on the ball, but you need to be progressing the play, breaking those lines. And finally, one of the last reasons why I think Eriksen's return at number 10 could be massive for United is the space for Bruno Fernandes to make those deep late runs into the penalty area, becoming that kind of fifth attacker. One of Bruno Fernandes' best qualities at Sporting Lisbon was kind of getting on the end of moves and attacking late and scoring goals. Of course, he's had great goal-scoring seasons at United, having probably won this season as well, but adding more goals to his game to get back up to that top level that we saw him do in the Portuguese league, but also under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for Manchester United. It's attacking the ball from deep. It's attacking it from those deep areas and getting on. It's harder to pick a man up that's going to run from deep, and Bruno has that engine to get up, but also to get back down in the transition, which I think is vitally important for United. Looking at his goals this season in the Premier League, he's only scored 5 goals for Manchester United this season. We compare that to his first season in the Premier League under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He scored 8 goals. That was, of course, from January. Second season, scored 18 goals. That impact from late, from deep, I think is going to be vitally important for Manchester United. Just taking a look at one of his performances against Liverpool in the Premier League. Scored himself a goal. Had a whopping 6 shots on goal. But you could see how deep he is there. That heat map is deeper, it's lower, it's allowing him to get on the ball, not being frustrated. And that, of course, is because Christian Eriksen can play number 10 with Bruno Fernandes deep. Guys, Christian Eriksen's going to make a massive impact with Manchester United at the back end of the season if he plays number 10. This has been one of my dreams pretty much the entirety of the season. Get in the comments below. Do you think it's right to play Eriksen higher with Bruno lower? And also check out SofaScore, like the goddamn video, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you later.